this product that just came in the mail. And you can actually pick this up on Amazon. We actually got an Amazon Prime next day shipping for, I want to say $47 or $44, really cheap. And by the title of the video, you guys already know exactly what it is. This is a Fender reforming tool, otherwise known as a Fender roller. So this one particularly, company I guess is F2C. There's a couple different brands, but essentially they are all extremely similar, if not the same. It's probably one big manufacturer that makes them and then redistributed to dealers or rebranded, like a lot of things in the industry are, unfortunately. But this is a tried and proven product. This kind of thing is pretty much a no-brainer. It's just a matter of actually having one of these, which a lot of people don't. But when you're building these stance cars or race cars with slicks or whatever you want to have more clearance within the fender or the rear quarter panel and the wheel well, we need things like this so we can actually get that extra clearance. Let me set everything on top and kind of go over it with you real quick. So just right off the bat, right here is just an adjustment knob that's going to be installed onto the actual roller later. This is the adapter that goes to your rotor with the studs and whatnot. Now you can see that there's a whole bunch of different slots in it, not only patterns, but slotted. That way you can have 4x100, 4x114, 5x100, 5x114, 5x108, all the different lug patterns, you can fit them onto here. It's like a universal fit. This right here will just be the collar that attaches right there and extends it. And within that one, you have this one, which is the most important piece in the whole kit, which is the roller itself. You can see this adjust any way you want. And then that's what's gonna be actually pushing in the line on the, the fender. You're gonna be rolling with that portion. So right over here, we have some instructions essentially that tell you how to assemble it. I'm gonna look this over real quick and let's see. It also has some fender rolling step-by-steps, I guess you can say. Step 1, dented are before repair, that's what it says. Right movement, under repair, repair completed. I guess it's kind of like just to push out dents, which is the original, maybe the original method or the original reason that they have that, but we're gonna be showing you how to do this on video, so don't worry about this. If you have the instruction sheet, follow that to assemble it. I'm gonna do that off the camera. So we are about to start rolling on the rear. We have obviously the fender roller already assembled. Like I said earlier, the instructions are gonna show you how to do it at home. Then also we have this Drill Master heat gun. Shout out to my boy Khalid for letting me borrow it. And essentially just a quick theory behind the fender rolling. What the heat gun is gonna do is going to heat up the areas where the paint is actually gonna be more bent, in the sense of all of this is getting tucked up in there. So you can see this big lip right here. That continues all the way on the top, and that's what's actually gonna hit the wheel, and we wanna roll upwards. So by heating up the paint, it's just gonna make it a little bit easier to not break the paint. Now, like I mentioned in the last video, we really should have done this before we got the car painted. We just got it painted, I believe last week or the week before, and it could have really been better to do this before the paint. But we're gonna work with what we have, and especially most of you guys doing this at home are gonna be doing it once your car is already painted, or if it's OEM paint or whatnot. So let me get the camera here onto the tripod, and I'll show you the process behind it. Okay, first things first, we're gonna lift the car. Okay, so since this is the rear of the car and the car is front wheel drive, the only thing that we have to do for this to be able to spin freely will be that the emergency brake is taken off. Now, I actually have to change the rotors and pads. I think the calibrating might be sticking a little as well, but that's why it's not turning very freely. But essentially, you just don't want to have the e-brake up. And if it's rear wheel drive, you just want to make sure that the car is in neutral and you can be able to spin freely. As for the front, if it's front wheel drive, you're gonna wanna put the car into neutral, or do whatever you have to do so that you can actually spin the rear or the front, whatever part you're working on. Okay, so very simple on how to use this. The setup takes a little bit longer because you're gonna be doing one wheel at a time, progressively working, but essentially what you're doing right here, you're getting this to get onto the pattern of your car. Lower this a little bit. Just gonna zap them on. Doesn't have to be super tight, you're just holding it into place really. Now this knob on the side, my left hand, this is an up and down adjustment. This knob right here is this angle, and this adjusts the arm going in and out. So we're gonna go clockwise as much as we can. We're gonna start on this corner. We're gonna slowly work our way counterclockwise. And I wanna give, it's kind of hard to start off, but like I said, counterclockwise, starts touching the edge right there. And you're gonna, I like to seat it up until you start to see the bottom crease up. Then I'm gonna tighten this knob right there. Now mind you, this is just for the first pass. Tighten this right here. Get that about right there. And with the heat gun, I'm gonna heat this whole panel up. One thing to keep in mind, since this lip is gonna go inwards right here, run your finger across. There's almost always dirt buildup. Get all of that sand, dirt, whatever it is out of there, because if it stays in there, you're not gonna be able to roll it. Just a quick little tip for you. It's gonna get stuck between and it's not gonna be able to bend easily. So yeah, let's get that out. And the main area that we actually roll the fender is from about right here to right here. This is the bumper, you can trim if you need to, and this right here, you don't have wheel contact. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat up the panel. Got about a minute of heating up right there. And while it's barely on there, you're gonna do your first pass. Go back and forth. And once you feel that the actual fender has started to crease in, I go back to the beginning spot, counterclockwise, bend it out, and do a second pass. I'm not too worried about the bumper coming unaligned right there, because with lower cars, it's always gonna be a problem to have these aligned. So we're gonna do a couple passes like that to try to get it into place. I like to up it a little bit more. We're gonna add some more heat. Some more angle. I'm gonna loosen right here. What I'm gonna do now, loosen that portion. I want it to angle upwards a little bit more. Like I said, it's kind of hard to do it from the beginning, but then you'll get a hang of it. I'm gonna add a little more angle right there, drop that down. You see now this is more flat with the body. Same thing. And this is gonna start pulling it out a little bit, little by little. Add a little more heat. That's pretty much rolled and slightly pulled. There is no longer any lip right here. So look at the bottom. You guys remember at the beginning it was like a knife type lip like that, and you can see where it starts being rolled and then pulled inwards. there is no longer that lip that can catch onto your tire, pop your tire, or not allow you to have that extra little fitment. So what's this gonna do for us? We're gonna be able to run less camber, so the wheel can sit a little bit more outwards, probably a couple degrees to be honest. And it's also gonna let us go a little bit lower to our liking and just have a lot safer drivability in the sense that we won't worry about that popping our tire. Now we're gonna move over to the front, and it's essentially the same theory as this. The only difference you wanna keep in mind, the fender is very thin compared to the structural integrity of the quarter panel. This is a lot harder to get little wrinkles in, but it's easy to mess up the fender. So you wanna go little by little, warm it up a lot more with the heat gun, and then just do small sections at a time. All right, so we just got done rolling the front, and this is exactly what I was telling you about. It's so thin and so easy to get out of the line. You can see the gap. The fender is now a little bit more out from the door. I'm gonna probably just push that in or realign it with the bolts and whatnot. On this side, I did it much less aggressive, and you can still see it's perfectly aligned. So yeah, now I just have to play with that a little bit, which I'll end up loosening the bolts right here and on the bottom, and then just trying to compensate for that. Or I might even try to, you know, just give it the good old bend back into place. There we go. Perfect. It's actually almost where it should be. So yeah, that's pretty good for the front. The rears are all the way rolled, slightly pulled. And on this side, I have a good amount of camber. So if the wheel were to go up right there, it should be okay. On the other side, I have to redo my camber kit because it wasn't all the way threaded on one side, but it was on the other. So I'm gonna have to play with the arm a little because this is maxed out on the negative side for the camber kit, and it is about to rub. Mind you, these are 235 tires, and I was actually talking to Max. He also has an RSX. You guys have seen him with his EK and whatnot. He said to go with some 215s, and it'll fit a lot better. So I think this on some 215s instead of 235s is gonna have a nasty stretch, and I'll be able to dump it probably another half an inch if I wanted to, and the fitment will just be perfect with that. But I'm super happy on it. For the fronts, I did go in a little bit on negative camber. Falling on the 2x4s. So there is a little bit of negative camber, nothing crazy, not as much as the rear, but just enough to have, like, you know, a nice tuck at the top without having too much extra poke. And the same thing goes for the front. If I had the 215s instead of the 235s, I think it'll fit a lot better. All right, you guys, I went ahead and raised the front just a tad and the rear a couple turns on the coilovers, just so I could have a little more clearance. I think I already mentioned it, but I want to go with a smaller tire, about from a 235 to a 215, and once I get that, I'll actually be able to put the fitment exactly how I want. But for the time being, that's what we're going to deal with because those are the tires that came with the car. Overall, I am pretty happy with how the fender pulling and rolling came out. Definitely that huge lip that was here that can cause a lot of problems, especially on the highway, going at high speeds and hitting a bump. We're not going to have that issue anymore. On the front, it's not that much of a game changer since there isn't a big lip. It's just a small lip that we have to roll in, and it's mostly just the little tabs that hold the fender liner from the factory into place, which we remove on these cars if we're going really low, or how we plan to go really low in the future. So yeah, mainly it was the rear. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I'm not a professional or anything. You guys know in the channel, I like to try things out. I like doing the DIY, and I like showing you guys how to try to do it and learn from my mistakes if you can. That being said, I am cutting out the video for today. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell. Let me know in the comment section if this helped you out below. If you want to know where to buy this, I'm not going to put a link because in my opinion links expire, and then if somebody wants to watch this 2-3 years from now, they're not going to see that exact same link. I got this on eBay, the Fender roller. It was like $42 or $44, something like that, shipped next day with Prime. Just go Fender roller on Amazon or eBay. I'm sure you can find it on other websites too, but check it out. It's super easy to do. You guys saw us do it here. That and a little heat gun, and then a couple minutes extra time. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next video, guys. Peace.